Okay. Oh, great, T and Alex. We're going to get into Michigan and Michigan State in-depth previews right now. What does that mean? In-depth strengths and weaknesses, some offense and defensive most important players, any
we
other
weren't doing this
storylines
whole
you
preview
want?
thing. Let's start with this. Michigan State is the only team in the Big Ten that has to play Ohio State, Oregon, and Michigan. Only team in the entire Big Ten.
Okay. Nice.
Now, second half of that.
We get to play Iowa.
Rutgers avoids, I think, Ohio State, Penn State, Iowa, Michigan, and Oregon. I think they avoid all of them. They don't play any of those teams. I don't
think Iowa should be in that group.
They're ranked.
They have a top 10 defense.
Their defense is good.
They are not ranked by us. I would not rank them in a top 25. Their offense might be still terrible. I think it's confirmed terrible still.
Either way. Tall task for Johnny Smith. Easy task for the Scarlet Knights.
All right. Well, I want to start it this way. Let's focus on Michigan State.
No.
First, we'll snake draft. We'll do Michigan State, then we'll do Michigan, then Michigan State. Strengths and weaknesses of this team. For those that you can go as in depth as you want or as big picture, like me. I pulled up Michigan State's depth chart for the first time last night.
Depth chart?
Well, it's not accurate. We don't have one.
Well, I go on to the site Our Lads. They're really good about depth charts. I mean, it's close. I mean, if I read names off, you're like, oh yeah, it makes sense. Probably play.
And I'll tell you who's not starting. Yes.
All right. Looking at your team, feel like you do have some good transfers. I'm looking at the offensive side of the ball right now.
Our Lads. OURLADS.
Is Brandon Baldwin going to be your left tackle?
Possibly.
Luke Newman, your left guard?
Yeah, probably.
Tanner Miller, your center?
Yes, that's a guarantee.
Should be. He's the Oregon State kid.
All Big Ten.
Christian Phillips, right guard?
On NFL,
maybe.
How do I get to college?
That's questionable.
It's at the top NCAA depth charts. Or you could just, if you Google MSU Our Lads.
Oh, we're not in alphabetical order.
Right tackle?
This is ridiculous.
Ashton Lepo.
Yeah, that's the right side is questionable.
All right, in fairness, Grant, this guy probably took the one screenshot picture of fall camp of all the offense linemen together, and that was the picture.
They do. I mean, I don't see it on this one, but he does, like, this website does cite sources sometimes of, like, articles and stuff. So it gives you a decent shot. Obviously, everything. I believe him. But
I hope Stanton Ramel starts.
I pulled this up for the very first time last night. When I looked at it,
listed?
Maybe I'll just say my opinions and you guys correct me because everyone gets mad when other people that aren't informed talk about their team.
I found your favorite player.
Khalid Majid.
No.
Well, then he's not my favorite player.
Sorry, Grant, for cutting you off. Continue.
No, you're good. Who's his favorite player?
Yeah, who's my favorite player?
Your favorite player is Quindarius Dunnigan.
Yeah,
Dunnigan. I've done it again.
You haven't done again.
God, I can't wait for his first sack. Done it again, Dunnigan.
On paper, I feel like when I'm looking at this depth chart, I think running back, quarterback, tight end are strengths of the offense. I think that's you feel competent in that. I think weakness, offensive line, more of a question mark. Could be a strength. We just don't know.
It's definitely a weakness.
Starters,
who knows?
It's only 2 deep right now. Obviously, there's more people on the roster, but they only have 2 deep for them. My biggest question, I don't know if this is a joke from the phone call about Nick Marsh. I've seen he's gotten hype. Is he like a surprise potential X factor for the offense? If he takes, I don't know who this Alante Brown kid is, but I imagine if Nick Marsh is good, he'll be a third receiver for
Nick Marsh will play.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty
transfer from us. What wide receiver transferred away from us?
The guy that went to Tyrell Henry.
Oh, he
went to Wisconsin.
We got Foster, Jaron Glover.
Yep.
Who visited Georgia but came back.
Antonio Gates.
Not going to play, probably. I think he stinks.
Alante Brown.
Alante Brown.
Isaiah Johnson with AZIA. Never heard H. Never heard that guy.
Young. Freshman. Yeah, it'll be a crapshoot.
What about running back? This guy, the Lynch Adams kid. Are we thinking like because in the age of college football, I feel like there's not really crazy bell cows. People like to split. Is he going to be, we think, a serviceable backup? Play a good
Ran
chunk?
for over 1,000 yards and had 15 touchdowns last year. So, yes.
Where is he from? Do you know?
Played at
UMass.
UMass. Nice.
The team with no offensive line, and he still had a pretty good production. I think he's like a solid duo running back.
If you go by, switching to defense, if you go by this chart, it looks like they have 5 transfers penciled in, not penned in, not sharpied in, to start on defense. I think looking at this page, linebacker has the potential to be a strength. We're Jordan Hall podcast. We like Jordan Hall. And the two guys I looked at, Wayne Matthews III and Jordan Turner, coming from other respectable football programs.
Hall comes from Wisconsin. Or Jordan Turner, I mean.
Jordan Turner. Yeah, respectable football programs. I feel like your linebacking core could be a respectable unit.
Our new defensive coordinator from Minnesota said it's the best linebacker room he's ever had.
Wow.
I actually do think linebacker is a strength. Cal Halladay is either a starter or coming off the bench, and he's had production. Can't cover a soul.
Oh, he's still there too.
Run.
Deepest position on the team too, I'd say.
Got an all Big Ten honorable mention linebacker for Jordan Hall.
It's not even one single player on this team. It is scheme and coaching staff.
Yeah, that should be the strength for sure.
Having a plan.
Having competent coaches direct these athletes into a better game plan and foundation each week, I think it's just going to be night and day. We might not even be as talented. We could be way worse. But I think the overall coaching staff, obviously, I think is more proven and has, I'm not saying they are better, but I think it's going to be night and day of how competitive each play in each quarter will be from here on out. Obviously, we have no shot versus Ohio State and Oregon. I'm throwing those games away. Like, the only way we win those games is if those teams don't show up. But all the other games, we will be more competitive in. The strength has to be the coaching staff.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point.
I think that's pretty solid. Anything on the 2 transfers in, the Quindarius Dunnigan and Daquan Dowse? 2 sweet names that you guys got for the D-line.
Know a single thing about them.
I think they're both productive.
One's
they're
from
not
Nebraska.
Better than the 2 that transferred out.
Barrow in Miami, Florida.
Darius Dunnigan's from Middle Tennessee State.
I love that guy. I love that name.
I don't mind Barrow.
Georgia Tech.
For Daquan Dowse.
I don't think, like, the one thing about Michigan State is we've always been able to
stop the run.
The run. You know, some weeks it's a little bit better than others, but it's like the scheme wise in the back end. I think it just over the last couple of years we've seen it just brutal. How can we shore that up? I think that's the biggest weakness is our secondary. I think you have some talented players back there, but if the scheme, like the last couple of years, if the scheme doesn't work, I don't care who's back there. I think Michigan's secondary could have been back there last year, and if Scotty Hazelton and whatever scheme they ran out there last year, I think they would have got picked apart.
No, not Sanders still. I'll stop you right there.
No, they would have got picked apart. The scheme was so bad,
it was like well known that the scheme was so complex that no one could understand it except the guy who implemented it, and it was just a disaster.
I like that spin zone. I'm too smart for you as a coach. You can't keep up with my brain.
That's what he did, and he wouldn't change it. But our new guy, Joe Rossi, he says he didn't come in with a set scheme. He's going to base the scheme on with the players he has, which, that is coach speak, but at the same time, you got to think
at the same time you have to do that in the first couple of years, and then you start recruiting towards your scheme fits. So I think it's harder on defense to get scheme fit. I think it's easier on offense because you can always draw up new plays.
Make that shit vanilla.
More scheme and base align, where offense is you can draw up a play for anybody.
Make it easy to understand and don't give up 65-yard passing touchdowns every 8 plays. Then I'll be okay with it.
Do we expect anything from Alex Van Sumeren this year? It's a name I forget about.
I think he'll play. He's going to have to play last year.
Depth-wise.
Returning guys, do we expect any positive? Like, do you feel good about Maverick Hansen and Chris Bogle?
I was talking about this yesterday. I'm kind of happy Chris Bogle's still there.
Maverick Hansen's good.
I feel like experience matters overall. That never hurts to have speed on the edge. It's just a matter if he's more physical to stop the run than some of the backups.
That was Jalen Thompson the defensive guy I'm thinking about that caught our eye last year, or is it someone else? That sophomore?
He was a true freshman last year.
Yeah, he's a true. Yeah, I remember seeing him play. I feel like that guy's good.
He's good. Evan didn't agree with me when I said that pre-show, but I said that he would be very good. I think he'll be a starter.
But did he have flashes, or am I thinking of someone else? I thought he had flashes last year.
4.5 tackles for loss, a couple sacks, played in 8 games. He was pretty good at the end of the year. Yes.
It's a sample size.
I think he'll be a good and a starter.
Breakout player of the year.
I wouldn't go that far, but.
Returner from the secondary that you think
Malik Spencer is one of the. I'm not getting ahead of myself, but he's one of the most important people on this team.
Yeah, he's easily a top 10 player on this team.
He's the highest. He's the most sought after NFL talent on the defense, correct?
But he is one of the most important people on this team. Like I think if he's not out there, the secondary is going to get even way worse.
He's very good.
Here's a question for this roster. NFL talent-wise, Jack Velling, offensive representative, and Malik Spencer, defense, are those probably the 2 highest guys that NFL scouts would be wanting to watch play this fall for Michigan State?
Maybe.
Besides Childs.
Childs is a true sophomore,
He's
obviously.
A true sophomore, not eligible. But
his definitely.
I can see Tanner Miller getting drafted.
The center. Yep.
Doesn't have the intangibles, though.
Dude, having a center is huge. That is
being
huge.
a second-team All-American, I think it matters a little bit.
Yeah, he's definitely a good player.
Is that what he was?
Yeah, he's going to be all Big Ten if he plays all 12
That's
games.
Huge. I love that. Good snap. Ask Alabama last year.
Get a bunch of random guys around.
That center's now at Ohio State.
I know. That would be so funny if that was their downfall. I actually think about that sometimes, about how great that would be.
I think about
any
that
other NFL talent on our team
that I heard.
Like upcoming draft.
Not NFL wise. I'm thinking about other guy in the secondary, Ed Wood. Ed Woods. Do we feel okay about him? Came from Arizona State, I believe.
Good enough piece to play and be productive. He's better than the unknown.
Feels like a make or break year for Dylan Tatum in year 3. Going to need to see something from the kid. Some more
flashes. He's a flash guy. Got some
Chance Rucker. He's supposed to be good.
He was a freshman last year, got thrown into the fire.
Thought he
did all right. He struggled dramatically in his first game against Maryland. The only reason I pick him out on that game is because they announced the starters, and I was like, "Who the f is this guy?" And then obviously you had the whole debacle of that game. He is. I feel he has some talent. Obviously, you never know.
I think he could be pretty solid.
I'm curious to see if we're gonna.
It just is so hard this year because
nice.
Deep down in me wants to play the young guys to get more reps or whatnot because we're not going to compete for a Big Ten championship this year. But also there's that first half, the selfish. My heart wants us to be as competitive as possible, so you want to play like the starters with the most experience to try to get to a bowl game, to get the extra 15 practices, to have something to look forward to, a little positive momentum going into the next year.
I mean, there's no old guys that are really playing.
All the transfers, that's what I'm saying.
I was about to ask that question.
Not all the transfers are old, though.
Alex Jordan Hall not playing every single snap on defense. I know
he needs to.
He can't do that.
No one can play every
snap. He can't play every snap.
He can. He's built differently from IMG.
That's what I'm talking about, Alex.
He's going to play a shit ton. He's going to play plenty. And he's young.
To Evan's point, though, I was looking. This is a rough in pencil depth chart, but just thinking, would you rather take chances on the guys like Chance Rucker, no pun intended, and some of the transfer linebackers, and that means you give less snaps to Cal Halladays, Angelo Gross, Charles Brantley. Those guys are names we know.
Those 3 guys are going to get less snaps. Yes.
And that's interesting for an outside observer because I know those names. Right.
Yeah, but they're not the new coaching staff's guys.
It's exciting. New is always better. I'm kind of excited.
New is always better.
But you love Cal Halladay, so that's kind of messed up.
And we've been one of the most injured teams I've ever seen in the last 5 years. So I'm sure every single one of these dudes is going to play all the time because we have just rotating injuries.
Maybe a new training staff. Maybe they're getting rid of Chris Fetter.
We did get a new training staff.
Yep.
Punting, special teams, not spending more than 2 minutes on it, but you guys lost one of the best punters in the world. So is that a concern?
Wrong. What are you talking about?
2 years
freshman
ago.
All-American punter last year.
2 years ago. Yep. See, outsider. Thanks for saying
freshman All-American punter last year.
It's a factory punting you.
Well, we had a lot of chances to punt, so that's why.
But he's pretty good, and our kicker is good enough. Can make from distance.
Nice.
So we'll be fine. Special teams should be okay.